If you're a solo player and you've just come back to Destiny 2 to play the final shape, and you're finding it hard to do the raids, dungeons, and all that other harder content that requires multiple people, don't worry, this is the video for you. In today's video, I'm going to be covering 10 amazing weapons that you can get right now as a solo player, completely by yourself with no help from anyone else. All of these guns will perform very well and compete with some of the best guns in the game. Not to mention, they are extremely easy to get, and a few of them you can get right now as soon as you finish this video. A lot of these weapons you can go and buy right now, however, a few of them on this list will be a little bit of a grind, but that's what Destiny 2 is made for. Starting the list off here with number 1, we have the Perfect Pitch. This is by far one of the best SMGs in the entire game, and it doesn't require you to get any crafting patterns, get any RNG luck. You can simply buy it from the ritual reward once you've hit rank 16 with any of the vendors in the game, whether that's Vanguard, Crucible, or Gambit. So, whichever one you feel like playing the most, reset the rank and you can buy the perfect 5th for free. Now this gun does have 4 perks on it, however I would be using Subsistence in the first perk column, and then in the second column you can run Onslaught or Incandescent. Basically, just swap between these depending on the activity you're doing. If there's lots of ads, run Incandescent. If there's less ads, but you can feel like you can deal with them, put on Onslaught. It will increase the DPS of this weapon by a lot. Overall, like I said before, it's just a great SMG and it doesn't require any previous farming. Just level up your rank and you'll get it eventually. Up next, we have the Call. Now this is a brand new weapon this season with the final shape, and you can get it from the Pale Heart. This is by far the best weapon this season, and it is also the most used weapon this season, because overall it's just probably the best gun in the game right now. There is only 2 rocket sidearms in the game right now, and one of them requires some RNG luck to actually get the god roll, being the Indebted Kindness from the Warlords of Ruin dungeon. However, the Call you can get and you can craft and pick your god roll pretty easily. The easiest way to do this is build up enough Pale Heart engrams, go to the Pale Heart, talk to your ghosts, and just keep buying the calls until you get enough red borders to eventually craft it. It shouldn't be a problem at all to get this weapon crafted. I got mine crafted I think on day 3 of the DLC launch. It's very, very easy to get. If you're using weapons like rocket sidearms, you can actually pretty much use these as primary weapons if you run the right mods on your armor. On your helmet, just chuck on some special ammo finders. On your boots, chuck on some scav mods, and on your chest piece, run some reserves. If you do all of this, you can pretty much use these guns as primary weapons, and they're extremely powerful and they do a lot of damage. Depending on how you like to play the game, the Call has every single god roll you want. For me personally, I like to run Demolitionist and Golden Tricorn. Moving on to our next gun, we have the Lost Signal, which is again a brand new weapon that come out this season with the Echoes episode. If you want to get this weapon, just do all of the Echo story, and eventually you can pretty much buy this from the helm for a couple engrams. This is a new type of grenade launcher in the game that acts very similar to the Wither Horde. However, this one is slightly different and technically better in my opinion. This weapon will shoot out 5 projectiles that will add an area of effect on the ground. Now the best thing about this gun is you want to try and spread out those 5 area of effects, as they will all have a different tick damage. If you shoot the target and stack them all on top of each other, you'll only get the damage from one of the pools. However, if you spread all 5 out along the floor, as the enemy runs through all different pools, it will take damage from all of them. Another amazing feature with this gun that a lot of people haven't really realized yet is this weapon fills up the darkness bar on your prismatic subclass extremely fast, making it extremely useful to use with all of your prismatic subclasses. As for the god roll, I'm not too sure on this gun. It's got a bunch of random perks, but if I did have to pick one, I'd probably run Auto-Loading Holster and Demolitionist. This way you can just shoot a bullet out, put it away, and then it's going to recharge your grenade energy as it gets kills. Coming in at number 4, we have another gun from the same Echoes episode, and that is the Faithkeeper Rocket Launcher. Now usually I wouldn't recommend a precision frame rocket launcher, as intrinsically they do around 5 to 10% damage less than any other rocket launcher in the game. However, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you don't have some of the best in-slot rocket launchers like the Apex Predator or the Cold Comfort. And the Faithkeeper is extremely easy to get, and it has some amazing perks on it that you can craft and use right now. So like I said, you can buy this one from the helm from the vendor, and eventually if you get 5 red borders, you can craft it. As for the god roll, it depends on your playstyle. The go-to obvious one is Auto-Loading Holster and Explosive Light. This is amazing for any DPS rotation. This is pretty much the god roll for most rocket launchers. There's some other perks on there as well that you can use. You can run something like Cloud Cartridge and Bipod. This will give you more ammo but do less damage. This is very useful for things like Nightfalls or Grandmasters. Overall, this is just a solid rocket launcher that I definitely recommend you craft if you don't have something like an Apex Predator. Coming in at number 5, we have a various amount of weapons that all come from the exact same source, and they are extremely easy to farm out, especially as a solo player. These are pretty much all of the Into the Light weapons. Now, if you weren't around or you didn't get a specific god roll of a gun that you would like from the Into the Light, things like the Mountaintop, Hammerhead, Luna's Howl, or the Edge Transit. All of these 4 guns are amazing and they are all farmable right now from Onslaught. Now, unfortunately, you can't specifically farm for a said weapon, so there's a quite rare chance that when you complete the activity, you get the gun that you want, and then you get the exact god roll that you want. So, I'm basically summarizing all of these 4 weapons into one category, and whenever you have some free time, just do a couple ritual playlists of Onslaught, and cross your fingers, maybe you might get lucky. Things like the Mountaintop are amazing. Auto-loading holster and recombination is just an amazing combo for this one. The Hammerhead is probably my favorite LMG in the entire game, and it is extremely useful. Envious Assassin and Onslaught on this gun is amazing, they work very well together. The Luna's Howl is one of the best hand cannons in the game right now. Heel Clip and Incandescent is the god roll you want for that one, and then Edge Transit is just a DPS king for grenade launchers. Depending on your role that you want, there's plenty of roles out there. Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch is the obvious go-to here. Coming in at number 6 is a limited time weapon that you can get right now for the next 2 weeks, and that is the Tusk of the Boar. Unfortunately, this will require you to play Iron Banner, but, you know, that's very easy as a solo player. Just jump in, put an audiobook on, put your favorite podcast, YouTube video, whatever, and just aimlessly grind out some games. Eventually, you will get some engrams, and then you can go back to the tower and try and focus a god roll Tusk of the Boar. Now, I'm recommending the Tusk of the Boar, as this is basically a copy of the Forbearance, except this is much easier to get than the actual Forbearance. This is the exact same frame, it is a wave frame, and it can get the exact same perks. You can get Envious Assassin and Chain Reaction, making it the exact same thing as the Forbearance, except it's Strand, and it also goes in a different slot. Either way, this is an extremely useful gun, and if you have some spare time, jump into some Iron Banner, get some engrams, and try and focus the Tusk of the Boar. Trust me, you will definitely take advantage of this gun. Coming in at number 7, we have the Better Devils. Now, this weapon has been in the game for a very long time. However, it has been changed this season with new perks, you know, new rate of fire. It's actually a really decent gun. Now, this weapon does drop from Crucible. However, if you get some Crucible engrams, you can also focus it from Shacks in the tower. The god roll, in my opinion, is probably Demolitionist and Explosive Payload. However, this weapon has so many perks on it that you can choose different god rolls if you like. It comes with Hatchling, Kill Clip, Opening Shot, One for All, Slice, Rangefinder, whatever perk you like on a hand cannon, this hand cannon probably has it. So if you like the hand cannon playstyle, but you don't have something like the Zali's Bane or the Sunshot, whatever it is, the Better Devils is a great weapon and you can go and get it pretty much straight away. Starting to wrap the list up here, number 8, we have the Pro Memoria. Now, just like the Call, this one can be focused from your Ghost in the Pale Heart and also crafted once you have all the red borders. The best thing about all of the guns from the Pale Heart is the origin trait Dealer's Choice. Basically, final blows with any of these weapons will grant you bonus super energy, and then the more weapons you have equipped from the Pale Heart will increase this effect. So I like to pair these with each other. So if you're using the Call, just throw on the Pro Memoria in your heavy slot and it's going to give you bonus super energy. This weapon is extremely useful, and the god roll in my opinion is Reconstruction and Bait and Switch. Usually when you're running around the battlefield, you've tagged the enemies with both your primary and your special weapon, so by the time you pull out your heavy weapon and deal some damage, Bait and Switch is probably already procced, giving this weapon a free 30% damage boost. And the Reconstruction, of course, will reload it when you're not holding it, and it will also double the magazine. Overall, it's a great gun, and I definitely recommend you Guardians craft it when you can. Coming in at number 9, we have the Rossorago, which is a well drop, however, it can be focused in the Lost Sectors this season. The Rossorago is shaping up to be one of my favorite auto rifles in the entire game, just because of the one perk Onslaught. Onslaught on this gun makes this thing an absolute machine, and I love using it. It does a lot of damage, and it just overall feels amazing. Being Void as well, you can pair it with something like Repulsor Brace, giving you overshields, or what I like to do is run rewind rounds and Onslaught, meaning you can just endlessly shoot at a massively increased rate of fire. This thing is amazing. Now, the way to get this one, like I said, is to farm it through Lost Sectors when it is on rotation. And also in number 10, we have the Heliocentric, which is obtained through the exact same way. Wait for the Lost Sectors to be dropping sidearms and farm away and try and get a god roll Heliocentric. My favorite god roll for this gun is Heel Clip and Incandescent, making it overall a great weapon to use in your general play. With the Heel Clip being buffed to give you 2x Cure, it's definitely an S tier perk, and obviously Incandescent has always just been an S tier perk, so pairing these two together on one gun is obviously amazing. But anyway, Guardians, there is 10 guns that you can get right now as a solo player that will perform just as good as some of the meta guns in the game. Drop a comment down below what your favorite gun is this season, and as always, like the video if you enjoyed and dislike the video if you didn't. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.